Hello and welcome to another review here on Watch On channel. My name is Anders and today I'm looking at a very interesting Swiss dive watch. So Glycine watches, you may know Glycine as a Swiss brand, as one of the smaller mid-tier to budget Swiss brands. They have existed since 1914, so 105 years of history. Today they're owned by Invicta, and that's kind of controversial to some people because why buy a Glycine? Because you're essentially buying an Invicta, and nothing could be further from the truth. It's absolutely not true. So they are mostly famous for their Glycine Airman collection, which is very famous for being used in the Vietnam War. It's a dual time watch, but they're also quite known for their combat line of watches. Let me just start this review by mentioning some of the specifications of this watch, this Glycine Combat Sub GL0078 with the red bezel insert, because the specs compared to the price, which I will just reveal after telling you all the specifications, is quite amazing for what you get, in my opinion. So what we have here is of course a Swiss made automatic watch. Inside of this watch ticks the GL224 movement, which is essentially a modified ETA 2824, so a very tried and tested and durable movement. You get anti-reflective coated sapphire crystal, you get 316L stainless steel, you get very nice superluminova, so you get very nice lume, and all in all you get a very nice package. So just looking at, they use superluminova, they really do not too much about finishing the watches, but they do an okay job. Solid end links, quality bracelet, but most of all that you get an ETA 2824. So I got this watch for approximately $400 on massdrop.com, and sometimes they offer Glycine watches at big discounts because they buy maybe 100 or 200 or 300 Glycine watches and then they sell them in mass orders. So you can also find these watches on eBay and other places, and prices really fluctuate. So you really have to always be keeping your eye out for a Glycine Combat Sub if you're interested in this watch. Usually you pay 5 to 6 to 7, 800, 900, much more for ETA 2824 powered watches, but with this Glycine Combat Sub we are really lucky that it's much more affordable. And this watch comes in a lot of different variations. I have counted 19 different variations. It's variations in the color, both in the bezel insert. You can get it PVD treated, you can get it in gold, stainless steel, you can get it on rubber straps, fabric straps, and all sorts. But this is the GL0078, as I said, with steel bracelet and red bezel insert. So of course some dimensions, and they are very modern for a contemporary dive watch. You get 42 millimeters in diameter, a very nice, just 10.5 millimeters in thickness. Lock width is, let me just get the right measurement, 22, and from lock to lock you get 50. 42 millimeters in diameter is a very contemporary size in my opinion. So having a look at the dial here, it's a very simple dial. You get 1 to 12 in Arabic numerals, and then you get inside on the dial you get 13 to 24, which is the 24-hour counter. Then you get combat automatic sub 20 atmospheres, which means this watch is water resistant down to 200 meters. Swiss made down here at 6 o'clock. And up here you get Glycine, the name, and then you get the applied kind of gold logo, which is a little shiny. So you also get sticks and dots with all the hour markings, which are filled with lume, which I will of course show you just a little later in this review. And then you get these kind of Rolex styled hands, but without the Mercedes. So you get kind of a Mercedes hour hand without the Mercedes logo inside, but it's lume filled, so the yellow is lume. And then at 3 o'clock you get a negative inverted date window, which is perfect because you don't get this black on white, you get white on black, which makes it just a little more anonymous, and then it really fits into the dial. It really looks great because it's a little more anonymous. So it comes on this oyster style bracelet, as you can see. And then you have this clasp function signed Glycine. So you have a fold over, and then you have a push button. And it's not stamped metal, it's milled metal. So having a look at the case back, as we see here, the seals, the Glycine seals, and all the different information: sapphire crystal, 20 atmospheres, water resistant Glycine, stainless steel, automatic movement, and all of that. And of course you also get a signed crown. So one of the things I really like is this kind of oversized crown. I'm quite a big fan of oversized crowns, especially on sports watches, dive watches, because it makes it very easy to grip it and adjust the time, and I actually think it looks quite nice. And crown guards, which are very simple but protects the crown. So the crown is super easy to grip, as I said. So it's a screw down crown, and then you get a pop and it gets all the way out, and when you pull it out you get, of course, hacking. It's an ETA 2824, so the second hand stops. It's in the furthest position. In this position it just keeps going, and then you can set the time and the date, and it's very easy to screw back in. It's super easy. Of course also you can manually wound this watch, so you get approximately 40 hours of power reserve with this watch. So having a look at the case, and it is a smudge magnet, and that is actually because, as you can see, it's quite interesting that they decided with a tool watch, a dive watch, to actually do polishing on the sides. It's quite rare. Usually you would probably do brushing because it's not as scratch prone as you can see. I already got scratches as a polished side. So then you get light brushing on the top of the locks. On the side of the bracelet you get polishing, as you can see, and on the top you get very nice, quite well made brushing. So also brushing on the clasp here. On the clasp you actually get 4 micro adjustments, so it's very easy to just take a paper clip or whatever you have around, lying around, a toothpick, and then you can just adjust it to your perfect size. So this is how the watch looks on my 18 centimeter wrist, and I think it fits perfectly. A little bit bigger, and I would be a little under pressure being able to wear this watch, but 42 millimeters and 50 millimeters lock to lock is perfectly fine in my opinion. Also here you can just sense with the light the anti-reflective coating on the completely flat sapphire crystal. And one of the things I really enjoy about this watch is definitely that it's so flat. It's like I showed you with the measurement, less than 11 millimeters thick, and that's just a really great thing. And that's something we see with older dive watches like Rolex and older Glycine and stuff like that. You get much slimmer, thinner watches, and I think that's great. Having a look at the bezel, this is with the red insert. You can get it with black and blue and all sorts of bezel inserts. Have a look at their website or look on eBay or wherever you find your watches. It is a 60 click bezel. Very easy to turn. A bit stiff, but very easy to turn. Very little play, absolutely almost no play. 60 clicks. It feels both smooth and a little metallic or a little industrial, but no complaints whatsoever from my side. At 12 o'clock you get a lume pip. So let's have a look at the lume. So as you see, very nice lume. The Swiss Super Luminova is always a nice choice, and I think they applied just enough of it to really make it a nice watch with a nice lume, being a dive watch and a tool watch. Talking about this watch, the reason why I bought it. So I enjoy the Glycine Combat Sub line because it's a way to get a watch, a Swiss automatic dive watch with a nice movement, good materials from a watch brand with a real heritage. I also really like the fact with this particular example that it had a red bezel insert, because I don't have any dive watches with red bezel inserts. I have with blue, and I of course have with black and also steel, but I don't have one with red. So I think it's a quite fun watch, and I think this watch is definitely a watch that I will probably wear most during the summer. and I will probably put it on a NATO strap or on a rubber strap. But I will say this is a very good bracelet, very solid, and the clasp feels super secure, so no complaints whatsoever. It's a bit of an old way of doing a clasp, but no complaints. You're not paying thousands and thousands of dollars for this watch. So I have a few complaints or things I would have wished was better on this watch, and my biggest complaint is definitely the hands. And my biggest problem with the hands is the minute hand. Look at how thin this sword style minute hand is. So talking about this being a dive watch, essentially being a dive watch, you will never be able to really track your time very accurately when submerged in the water, because it's very hard to actually see the minute hand because it's so thin. So I don't know why Glycine opted to do a minute hand this thin. It should have been much bigger, twice the size at least, because it is a dive watch. And I think it's just very anonymous and it looks very boring. So the minute hand is definitely my biggest complaint. I also don't really like the hour hand because it's like this cheap Rolex Mercedes hand copy somehow, but without the Mercedes logo. I'm quite happy that they didn't put in the Mercedes logo, because that would just make it too much of a Rolex homage, a Rolex Submariner homage. But still, they should probably have done something about the hands. This is definitely something they can improve in the future, to just make the handset a little more remarkable. I have no problem with the second hand. It's very nice that they put this box on it, so it's very easy to see it. Also, it's filled with lume, of course. So the other thing I have is definitely the dial. Look at how flat the dial is, because everything is applied. Printed. It's not applied, so they could definitely have done something with the numerals. Of course, it makes the watch more expensive, but it would make the dial a little more interesting. So it's quite funny, because what you look at on a watch is definitely the dial all the time, but the dial here is a little flat. It's a little boring, in my opinion. They could definitely have done something, maybe just apply the 12 or the 6 or the 9 or whatever. Just do something to create some dimensions on the dial. Nothing is raised, nothing is really applied. You don't have any dimensions to it, no 3D dimensions or effects. But of course, you're also paying less than $500 for a watch with a really good movement at this price point, good materials and well made, and it wears really well, so you can't complain too much. So all in all, I think you get a nice package with this watch. If you're a newcomer in watch collecting and you want your first Swiss-made 2824 powered dive watch from a reputable brand with a history, although they're now owned by Invicta, as I said, then the Glycine Combat Sub could definitely be a choice. If you're a seasoned collector like me, I just think it's fun to have a Swiss-made dive watch from a brand like Glycine. Very simple, but really good at the price point, and kind of a beater watch or summer watch. I hope you enjoyed this review of this Glycine Combat Sub. This is the GL0078. If you enjoyed this review, please leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. What do you think about the Glycine Combat Sub, and could you recommend any other Swiss-made watch brands with a 2824 or Salita, a good Swiss movement at less than $500 US? Just leave a recommendation down below. Remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the logo, and you will never miss another video. I will see you very soon with another review. Thank you, bye.